pawn isn't the problem for white. The problem for white, as Magnus takes a sip of caffeinated Coca-Cola there, giving himself some energy to think about this complicated position. The problem for white is that damaged queenside. He cannot let black's queen get to a3 or the rook to get to the a file. All of that is a very dangerous possibility. But for the time being, white has some very active development, but a big move there by Magnus as he trades his dark-squared bishop for the knight on f6, and he essentially forces an endgame where both sides now have very damaged pawn structures. Black has that damage on the king side, and white, respectively, has the damage structure on the queen side. Hikaru taking active steps to fix his structure as he pushes the pawn up to f5, and he contests Magnus's control of the center. The idea is to undouble his pawns, and in the event of a trade on f5, black gets his light-squared bishop out. And in that situation, I think black is the one who can argue that he's slightly better. So Magnus has to tread very carefully here as he falls now to a minute 20 on the clock. He's a full 40 seconds down. And we know how dangerous Hikaru is in his opponent's time pressure. And Magnus says, no, I'm not trading unless it's on my terms. And he drives the bishop up to d5. He is provoking the move c6, which looks very tempting, but then the bishop will drop back to b3, and Hikaru will have problems with his pawn on d6. So I don't think he's automatically going to play c6. Another sip from Magnus. He seems pretty happy with the way that the endgame is going, and a big decision here to be made by Hikaru. And he finally takes on e4. Magnus recaptures with his bishop, and rook e5 by Hikaru, preparing to lift the rook up to the queen side, but also putting the rook on a defended square. The threat was bishop takes h7 check with a discovered attack against that rook. But now that the rook is on a defended square, Hikaru doesn't have to worry about that anymore. And Magnus, for the second time, moves his bishop up to d5, knifing into black's position, a trade on e1, and king f8 by Hikaru to prevent white's rook from infiltrating to e7. The endgame looks back